Okay. This looks familiar, other than it's the farmer's only one, but I've actually got some work that someone has offered me here, so on sooner than I thought. So while we're sinking in, so yeah, they've got some mulching and plowing to do. Don't know exactly where yet, but I'll worry about that once I'm here, because I've got maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes that I can devote to that this morning, so. But we'll see how that all goes. Alright, so I am here, but I am just trying to figure out my way around the yard. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff here, and I'd rather not run over any of his crops, so I'm struggling with trying to figure out how to get out of here. So I'm here. And I guess I just need to maybe head up and go through where I am in some open space. So what he's got for me is some mulching and plowing. So we're up here at field 5, but he just needs fields 41 and 42 done, and those are down at the south end. So definitely plenty of stuff to do here. So when I looked at, looks like he's got olives too. People love their olives and grapes on this community, I'll tell you that. So wow, that's like a really big hill. Did someone clear that? No, it looks like maybe they did, because on the map, mini-map, it looks like a forest, but there's no forest there. But I know there's not a lot of clearing that happens. Goodness, he's got more grapes. So it sounds like if I'm going to want to work for anybody, I'm going to have to start to love grapes and olives. Goodness, there's even more. He's got a lot of stuff over there. I don't know what the productions are. I mean, obviously, if I work with them, it will be something I have to figure out. Alright, so I think it's down here. Yeah, there we go. 41, 42. So yeah, I'll go down. It's kind of toward the campsite. So the benefit, obviously, I have to some degree, although I lived up on the north end in FSN, the benefit I have is I know this map a little bit, so here we go. Alright, so it looks like he's over here doing something. So I'm just trying to get my GPS set, get this opened up. Alright, so it looks like he's picking up straw. Obviously, I'm not gonna whatchamacallit, I'm not gonna go where he still hasn't picked up, because that would ruin things, and I'd probably get fired right away. So I'll try to avoid that. But so we got 41 and 42 to mulch up here. This is normally a job that on my farm I did not do, but obviously, you know, again, I do what they're asking me to do. So, not sure how large these things are, or these fields are. Kind of get rid of that so it's a little more immersive as opposed to having lines floating on the field. I've been pretty bad about that this series, but sometimes I leave that up anyway. But the nice thing is 41 and 42 kind of line up. So, oh, interesting, because I didn't think you could merge fields. Alright, coming up on the end of field 41 here. So there is a bit of a gap. Get this lined up here. So that should work there. There we go. We'll start chopping things up. Nice thing with certainly what he's got here is it's a good size mulcher, so it'll be interesting to see how far I get in the time I've got, but you know, I think it's only taken me a couple minutes to go across the field, and if I can do it in less than 15 passes, I might be able to get the mulching done in the time I've got. Obviously, you know, the plow remains to be seen. I know there's no plows that are this big, but yes, sometimes the mulching equipment gets a little crazy. So if we go into the map here, this is the purple farm. So for them talking about being casual, yeah, they own a lot of land. So, because this is the FM that said, yeah, we're, you know, we're pretty low key. We're not doing min-max stuff here. Now, he did also say part of why he would be willing to use a farmhand is he has more land than he can operate, which obviously now I clearly see why. So, you know, and as you guys know, I had mentioned Hobo's Hollow is something I might like to make a home, but this map doesn't have anything really open. I mean, I could grab a field in the center. I think I saw 3 or 4 fields right here, and that was it. And then after that, there's nothing. So I'd kind of be hemmed in, which might be alright. I don't know. I'll see, but obviously I'm not anywhere near the edge. You know, can't get 24 or 25 like I have had in FSN. So definitely would be kind of more on flat land. So, but again, we're a long way away. Obviously, I just talked about in the last episode the possibility of maybe I'll just help someone out, and maybe that'll be my life for who knows how long, and that'll be alright. Don't know how exciting viewing that would make, but when you get down to it, other than me owning this field, like if I was doing this work on my own farm, like it's still the same video. It's just I'm telling you I'm running an hour, you know, I'm getting paid per hour instead of I'm running my own farm. And then obviously it's up to whatever they're asking me to do. So we'll swing around here. Oh wow, that truck's almost full again. Like it was not anywhere near that full when I came over, so he's clipping along, that's for sure. Alright. Again, since I don't do these normally, I'm not as familiar with the rotation on these mulchers. You know, I know it like chews up the grass a little bit and so forth, but they're not mowing the grass. You know, if this was a grass field and we were mulching, I'd maybe pick it up so that I wasn't destroying things. But so Low Merrick there, that you saw the name pop up for a second, that is the FM. So we'll just see how this all works out, but hopefully he'll be able to stay ahead of me. Just it's gonna vanish, but I'm like kind of watching what he's doing over there. So he's dumping obviously near that auger that is picking things up into the truck. So it's definitely a different kind of operation than I'm used to, so it's definitely intriguing. So I think one of the things I had mentioned in one of the previous episodes was precision farming and being unsure and so forth. I have found out since then they do not use precision farming in FOC, and the reasoning for that, kind of certainly valid from what I see, is they're trying to keep the economy stabilized. And there's a feeling that with the soil types and the soil mapping, it then starts to become a competition, especially when it's someone like me coming in brand new who has nothing versus someone who's had an established operation, and then suddenly, a field comes up that is all loam, and you've got 120%, 125% yield, and there's just no possible way to outbid someone who is much larger than you are. So then it becomes kind of creating this dominance of the large farms. Now, obviously, I think there's still some of that. Like, if someone wants a field and I'm coming in and I have, maybe $10,000 or $20,000 to bid over what the field bid starts at, and they've got millions and millions of dollars, like, if they want it, they're going to beat me regardless. But the explanation was more, well, by eliminating that difference, you make all the fields the same, and that is kind of what their economic model has been designed on. And then there are other pieces that come with precision farming that they felt could skew things as well. So obviously, before precision farming was out, we all played Farming Simulator without precision farming, so it's not something that you have to do. So it's just, again, something I'm going to have to get used to, because obviously that is not what I've been doing for quite some time. Oh, I can't. Okay, I can't actually pick up the mulcher. I forgot about that. Which kind of makes sense. I mean, they're huge. I mean, I'd have to fold it each time, but let's see. I'm probably gonna have to back this up. So let me do that, because I was gonna say the turning width on this is pretty big, and whoops. My ATS stuff is not helping. I'm not backing up. Oh, now I'm just screwing up the other way. What is with me today? So I've got a limited amount of time, and I'm going to waste it here on one corner of the field, just dancing. So, alright, let me get off, and then we'll... Wow, that's still going to move over. Well, maybe not. So I think I'm going to get most of what I need there. I guess we'll see when I come back. Alright, so I've been working away, been having a conversation. There's another FM on here at least, as well. So they've made a comment or two, so I know that. So there might be other people playing. I didn't look around yet. Just trying to get clear of those trees, so I think I need to do that. And I should be okay to get going here. Okay, it is going. Alright. It was like, it's not turning, it did not lock onto the line, but it did. Whoops, I gotta pay attention. I just ran over some of his straw. I am back. I apologize for what probably was a bit of an abrupt ending, but I started getting into some good conversations in chat with the folks that were on, and obviously, want to interact with folks as well, rather than just focus on gathering stuff for the episode. So we did talk about getting things done. I've got to finish mulching this field, so I had stopped because I was going to run into the straw, but he basically told me, go ahead and mulch over the straw and then get the field plowed. And then by the time we got done with all the chatter we had going on, I had to shut down for the day, for most of the day. So it's in the evening now, but I did promise him that I would get this done. So that is what I'm going to do, is finish mulching, and there was straw in these areas here, so he did pick up a little bit more, it looks like. Because it wasn't just over to the side, so he went and grabbed some. Oh, actually, well, maybe he didn't, because that was the thing. I had run over a couple rows, these rows at the end, when I turned around because of the trees at the end of the field. I thought he came by and picked it up, but I think when you've got so much land, you're just not able to work it all, and you kind of do the best you can. But anyway, those are my instructions. So right now, I certainly want to honor the commitments I had made. I've got one other FM who reached out to me and said he probably has some stuff too, to let him know once I'm back tonight and able to do stuff. But I don't want to waste his time thinking I may or may not until I see how long this is going to take. So I'm going to keep working on the mulching, and then maybe I'll pop in for a tiny bit once I start doing the plowing. And obviously if I keep going, I'll add that all in here and we'll keep going. But the other nice thing, I've been gone, as I said, for most of the day, so it's really probably 13 hours, 14 hours since the video footage ended that you saw before I jumped in here. And in the meantime, I've had a couple other folks reach out as well, seeing what I had posted. So the cool news is there's definitely some active need, which is what I was hoping for. So I would say that's $2,000 well spent that I did there. It's just a matter of figuring out what makes sense, because there's definitely something to be said for just enjoying who you're working for, because this is probably one of the lower paying options I've got, but certainly enjoyed talking with the folks that I was chatting with, hence why I had kind of cut off and went and done that instead of just ignoring them and working on this. But alright, what is happening here? There we go. So it should get through pretty quickly. I mean, I'm hoping I might have a little bit of time, because I certainly want to check out the options before I kind of make a choice. And in the past, I've been able to assist multiple farms as a farmhand at the same time. But once again, I don't want to create a situation where folks are left hanging. So that was one of the issues here, is they had said, because they'd like to have consistency, knowing that there's availability. And so if I am doing multiples, it's just going to be, hey, I can handle a couple farms or something and keep up with the demands year-round that they have, versus other options. So we'll see who's synchronizing in here. Alright, so I've got the mulching done. I'm now taking the equipment back here. Getting a little too close to the other stuff, so let me clean this up here. Not sure if this is exactly where he wants it, but we've fueled and repaired, so I did ask him if he wanted that. Typically that's normal, and he does, but unlike FSN, we don't have to clean things here. So alright, I am assuming this is all, yeah, this one's just unfolded already, so alright. So maybe it's not, or well, no, it probably is. Okay, I just hadn't adjusted the width for whatever it had before, but there we go. So we are all set now. Just make sure. Alright, because I'm like, yeah, let me make sure they don't have. Alright, so sorry again. I think I probably had a pretty abrupt ending. If I didn't, then I guess I'm not, but it's been hours since that I've continued. So I've now finished plowing the field. I've got a little bit down here, but I think last I had been speaking, someone was sinking in. It was the FM that I'm working for, and we ended up having a really long and good conversation. And so There was no adding information to the video. So we've got that little bit. I think there's a little bit down here that I'm going to need to touch up. That was hanging out. There we go. So luckily it's not a ton, but it is a little bit. And then, yeah, so it's just this one row. So the field's just a little wider, and then obviously there's the little thing in the corner over there as well that is even one row further than this. But then I will have gotten every little bit of this. So the good news is, I think again I was starting to share that I've got several folks interested. I've just really got to figure out what makes sense. So, you know, I got on here, I think this took me another 2.5 hours or so. Yeah. So that's about right. You know, and this is just one set of fields this person has. So obviously there is a ton of work, and so what I'm starting to see is there's a lot that's happening on one given farm. So what I was thinking that I would need to do, which is partially, you know, I've been communicating with everybody who's reached out to me, obviously, partially to obviously be nice as well, like, because I know it would be irritating if someone wanted some feedback and then you just ignore it or whatever. But I'm not sure that I'm going to have the bandwidth to help or be a farmhand for more than one person. So there's a little bit going on in my head in that obviously I was doing generational farming and my farm. So in theory I was kind of doing two things. I certainly don't think it's realistic that I could do like 3, certainly not 4. It's just there's one person who's saying a dairy operation, so once again, if it's just pop on and feed cows once a day and then, you know, maybe deliver milk, you know, so like it turns into a real job at some other point, you know, but I'm basically doing like 30 minutes a day or something. Like, you know, that might be something I could fit in on the side, and potentially, like, if I had 2 decent ones that kept me pretty busy, like this right now certainly is one of that. Like if I've got 2.5 hours to work, and actually I think I had half an hour, or it's probably 45 minutes, but it's just to be safe, because I think it's closer to a half, so I mean there's no reason to push things more than they need to be. You know, because I try to keep moving around while I'm chatting, but I think again I ended up like stopping and then chatting with them for 10 minutes, and I think that's where I was like, oh, I was on for 45, but I wasn't working for 45, so I'm not going to charge someone when I wasn't actually working, because doing extra billable hours is not the right thing to be doing. So, you know, but that's where I'm at. I want to get this back and put away. But at this point, I've got, I think, 4 different people. This is obviously one of them. And, you know, so I'll have to see what I can do. So you can see there's the cotton harvester there. I may be back working on that in a few hours, because I'm up later than I would have planned, but I promised him I'd get this done today. So definitely want to keep my word and do what I'm saying I'm going to be doing. But anyway, let me get this repaired, and I'm just a little bit distracted, but alright, so he's got like his stuff for olives over there by those areas. But we can refill. Whoops, what's going on? Why is it moving forward? I'm refilling, not rolling forward. I know what key I'm hitting, so it's just confusing me. Alright, get this repaired up. Alright. And then again, like if I see stuff somewhere else, but... Alright, so it's interesting. Because again, in FSN, like, we couldn't have trucks parked under those like that, because supposedly that's a server stability problem, too. Alright, so the other tractor that was here, that I parked the mulcher next to, is gone. So that got moved somewhere to do something. But I know he said he did finished field 18, so maybe it was another plow and he was plowing that. He hadn't asked me to do that, but as we were chatting, he had said, "Hey, I finished field 18." Alright, turn off the lights. Again, he's got a lot of stuff here. I don't understand. What am I looking at with those trailers, and why are they doing what they're doing? Is that like a glitch, or... Oh, I see they have pallets. Do these trailers do that when you load them? Interesting. Because there's another one here like that. Huh. That seems really strange. But, I don't know. So yeah, it seems there might be some looser rules, maybe, as far as what you can do or whatever. So I'm just kind of looking around. So we've got cows and this and that. Food, straw, slurry. 180 cows there. Okay, so there was a TMR mixer. Was this it? Yeah, okay, wow. So that's a big TMR mixer. That's cool. Yeah, this is not a mod. I don't know that this is a mod I've seen. I can't imagine they created their own mod, but... Because I've looked for good-sized TMR mixers and other... for like my single-player series sometimes, and... yeah, I have not seen that. So yeah, that looks like a cereal factory. Not sure what this is. Okay, this is a dairy. Alright, so yeah, that's the dairy. I think that's the same thing. Oh no, that's some other production. Oh, the tailor shop. Okay, so he is doing... There's a lot going on here. So I know tomorrow, it's what he said is the cotton harvest. So there's some bale stacking and all that here. 600,000. Okay. Wow. Oh, wait. Did you see that? 2.6 million. Okay. These are not small things. So you're kind of getting my point when I'm talking about not small operations. Now, again, I mean, maybe he's just been collecting that straw for 15 years. It's possible, because I think they've said that they've been on here for a couple years. So, you know, and they run at the same speed of 1 day per. So, you know, 1 day per month, so 12 days, you know, basically a month gets you through 2.5 months, but in any event, so I've got to make a decision, but I've been upfront. I mean, I don't want to kind of lead people on or make folks feel, like I'm likely to do something, and then they feel like I misled them or something. So I was upfront and let them know, hey, I put the ad out there. There's a couple other people. I may want to try to do something for them. But on the flip side, I understand, like, someone can't wait forever. I mean, the good news is we're kind of getting to the end. I could certainly help him with harvesting and this and that if it comes down to it. But I had chatted with him about the fact, because he was one of the lower offers that I had, and so we've come to a possible agreement, maybe adjusting that a little more realistically. I shouldn't say realistically. I mean, what he's offering is realistic. What he's offering is what I would be getting in FSN and all I could have gotten. But again, this is a different location, and just like if I was looking for a job in real life, if someone's paying me twice as much for this, in essence, the same work, which is what it is, it doesn't really matter in Farming Simulator what work I'm doing. You're getting paid for your time. So if I spend an hour, if someone's paying me double for that hour, it's hard to just say, no, I'm not interested in getting paid double. Now, the flip side is I've chatted with them is, obviously, you need to like who you work for. I mean, the number one reason people quit their jobs is that they hate their boss. So, I would never take a thing where I'm getting paid double and I'm getting treated very poorly when I have an alternative. Well, even if I don't have an alternative, I'm not going to sit there and be miserable just to do whatever. I just go look for another option. So it's the same thing, but there is a part of me that's a little bit like, well, this is the first operation I've really helped out for any length of time, other than the, either doing a contract or, working for the individual who got me in here to begin with. So there's 3 others, as I said. I'll take a look and see what I might want to do, but there's a lot of positives about this situation here. So, I mean, I almost told the FM this, but I didn't, because it's kind of goofy at this point, because he's the only one. So, like saying, oh, you're my favorite option, you're my number one option to work as a farmhand. Like, that's where I'm at right now. But he's literally the only one of the options I have that I've tried. So, like, it's not a legitimate comparison, but I understand what I mean in that there's a lot of other things other than the farm and this and that. I enjoy talking to them. They've certainly got a lot of variety. So, the possibility of just staying busy as a farmhand works. So again, I think I had indicated, let me know in comments, like, do you think it would be as interesting, or, is there something that's like, no, you must become a farmhand for me to stay interested, or a farm manager for me to stay interested in this series? But at the end, like I said, other than a little bit of, hey, I'm going to decide to do whatever, and it's just, you guys do know, like, I am not going to run something like this. So you've really got some significant differences here, in that, like, this is going to give you access to see all the variety if I work for a place like this, where, we're going to be working with tailor shops and dairies and cereal mills and who knows what else. This is not what I would build for my own farm. Like, I would have a small little thing, and that's where, like I said, at the end of the day, I just want to get online and play with people and do whatever. And part of the reason I ended up like doing a farm was it was just hard. I did share that with the FM here. It was hard to find a farm hand position that lasted and with someone that was decent. There was just a lot of folks that I ended up working for that, I'm not saying just because they were younger it was an issue, but to some degree, like, they didn't treat people well. And I don't know if that was just an immaturity thing, or whatever, but it was miserable working for them. And then, the one I really liked, the guy ended up quitting because he just, decided he got busy in real life and couldn't do it. And it was a giant dairy operation and whatever, and I really enjoyed that. But, so like I said, so if I stay a farmhand, for example, I mean, again, I may change my mind at some point and say, well, I still want a little farm, and because the nice thing is, like, there isn't a requirement that I, like, do anything with it. I mean, I could own it and every once in a while, throw something in, but then it seems kind of pointless. Like, if my focus is just get on and do stuff, and that's the thing, if I'm going to have 2 or 3 hours of work every day as a farmhand, I'm not going to have a lot of other time, and I'm thinking there's more than enough operations here in Farmers Only to do that are looking for help. I mean, I know at least one of the other people has said they've got a huge operation and they're just trying to get someone to handle day to day as they focus on a couple other areas, which is somewhat what I was doing with that one I liked in FSN. He kind of had us do the daily stuff, and he would pop in, and he just really more enjoyed managing a bunch of farmhands, and that's kind of what he went to. But anyway, hopefully somebody's still listening to me. If you're not, I understand. I was going to kind of stop and end, and I've just been babbling for minutes like I normally do. Because I honestly am excited. I have a lot of things to say. I always have something to say. I like to talk. I'm sure you figured that out if you've been on my channel for any length of time. But I'm going to wrap this up because I have a feeling like there's going to be all kinds of episodes coming out, because at this point, what I probably in my wildest dreams I couldn't have imagined it would happen as easily as it has. But this is day 3. I think this is now episode 4, so I've got more episodes than I have days. And really, like, day 1, I didn't do anything, so I've got like 4 episodes in 2 days, and I'm certainly going to have one tomorrow. But there's just a lot of stuff coming, so I can just see that it's working because, I'm gonna sign on with somebody unless I just make them all wait long enough and they all get mad and hire someone else. So that's what I'm trying to avoid as well. But what I kind of don't want to do is regret the fact that, well, maybe it would have been better. I would have enjoyed that more. So I want to at least look at other people's operations. So I'm going to certainly probably do that off camera. I mean, I may include just to show people, hey, I looked here, I looked here. I don't know. Now that I say that, I probably should, like, show you so that like, hey, this is what I did. Because if I'm making a choice about, I decided not to work for this person because, hey, I don't like the map. Like, again, I enjoy Hobo's Hollow. This one's set up pretty nicely. Anyway, I'll explain it in the next episode or some episode, because otherwise I'm going to go on for another 20 minutes. So I'm just going to force myself to shut up, and I will see you next time.